Hello, friends. It's Eden here. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm sorry I woke up a little hoarse-voiced today for whatever reason. So I'm going to try and make this as quick as I can, but I know that once we get into this joint, it might end up being a half hour, it might end up being an hour. Yesterday's was 90 minutes because there were a lot of questions. So today we are going to go into making a leave-in conditioning cream. Okay. And so a leave-in is a very interesting sort of product because people say, Eden, I want to make a leave-in conditioner. I'll be like, okay, what kind of leave-in conditioner do you want to make? Oh, I want to make it moisturizing and detangling. Like, okay, do you want something really light or do you want something really heavy? you know, um, how are you using this leave-in conditioner to style the hair? Okay. What texture of hair are you trying to accommodate? These are all questions that you need to address if you're going to make a leave-in conditioner. There's no leave-in conditioner that works well for every human being on the planet. Good morning, Shinda. It's like water, water. I mean, water is the only thing that's going to work for everyone on the planet. Everyone needs water on their skin, on their hair, especially inside their bodies, right? But a leave-in conditioner is going to be more particular. So, excuse me, you want to start with um, figuring out who it is you're making this conditioner for. Sorry, guys, those of you that just jumped on, I said it in the beginning, but no one was on yet. I woke up really hoarse voiced today. So I'm going to try not to speak too long, and I am going to drink lots of water. I probably should have made some tea, but I didn't want to be too late coming on because I was already a little late coming on. Good morning, HPS. Good morning, Shakila. So, um, I so the only leave-in conditioner that I think works for every single hair type is a light sort of leave-in lotion, like a light uh, hair lotion or a light um, like a leave-in, yeah, just like a super light leave-in conditioner. Some people will call them detanglers, some people will call them hair milks. People have different verbiage. Probably on Q&A day, I might even just do a little bit on how to um, phrase what it is that you're selling. Okay, because you can have one product and you can name it three different ways, and people have different understandings of what it is and what it does, when really it's essentially the same product. But I would say that the light leave-in conditioner is going to be what works universally for most people, right? Um, and I also think that it's something that can be layered under a heavier butter or a heavier cream or gels and so forth, for twists. It's something that can work well in wash and goes when it's layered. It's something that can be applied repeatedly between washes without being too heavy in the hair. However, most people don't want to necessarily make that hair product. And for hair texture like mine, because those kind of conditioners are so watery, my texture of hair, which as you can see is real 4C hair. Some people say they have 4C hair, and I look at them like that's not 4C hair, but okay. Um, a hydrating conditioner is going to feel really soft in the hair. Okay. So something that has as much water as possible. However, if I twist my hair or if I braid my hair, then I need a richer cream. Then that leave-in conditioner needs to be um, paired with a butter or something like that. When I use those rich, heavy creams on my free hair as it is, it makes my hair stiff, believe it or not, and hard and dry. But a hydrating conditioner keeps it soft all day. I can use it repeatedly between washes and so forth. So it just depends on the style that you're going for as well, that determines what leave-in conditioner you need to use. So today I thought I'd make a cream because it seems that most people really want a cream when they think of a leave-in conditioner. They want like a moisturizing cream. Okay. So we'll go into the intricacies of how to switch your formula up so that you can have a light lotion versus like a really sort of thick cream versus a light cream. Okay, so as we go into the screen sharing portion and we start doing the formulation, as I'm explaining to you the different components, you'll understand how to switch up your formulation so that it reflects the texture that you're going for. Good morning, Claire, Angela, and Patricia. Is it possible to have a leave-in and co-wash in one? It could be. It could be, just depending on what emulsifiers you use. Um, so yes, it is possible to have a leave-in and co-wash in one. Um, but you have to make the co-wash a certain way in order for that to be possible. I just prefer co-wash to be co-wash because quite often I find that co-washes don't cleanse as much as you would love them to. And that's because people are advocating that you leave it in, so they're making it more conditioning. So the things that clean the hair and thoroughly, not just a little bit like conditioning agents do, but that clean the hair thoroughly. Like we said when we were talking about the moisturizing shampoo, they sort of conflict with the things that are conditioning. So then it becomes about proportions, like how much of the cleansing stuff are you going to put in that co-wash as opposed to the conditioning stuff. And the more cleansing the co-wash is, the less suitable it becomes for leaving in because we don't want to leave soap in our hair. It's afternoon your end, Barbara. Good afternoon, Barbara. You must be in either Europe or Africa, or I don't know, maybe India. So let's go ahead and share our screen here. I finally figured it out. Yay me and my fledgling ability to do technology. Let's see. All right, good. So I think I've made it. Wait, am I sharing? Oh, wait. Now I'm sharing. Okay. And now I'm sharing small. All right. So I'm going to just quickly flip over to the screen. I'd love confirmation from anyone in the chat on Facebook or YouTube that you can actually see my screen. Okay, so guys, I'm going to give my usual disclaimer about my chipped nail polish. Can you believe it? Yesterday I went and oh, you're in West Africa. That's perfect. Yes, we can see. Thank you, Shakila. Thank you, Sumaya. So basically, I went and I did this massive grocery shop because now I'm really trying to not go to the store often because of COVID. We're up to like 10,000 new cases a day in my city. And I am I am not a spring chicken, and my children's father is kind of high risk, so we're just trying to be very careful this year. And I went and I did all this stuff, and I still didn't go get the nail polish remover. So here I am again with the chipped nail polish. So please don't judge me. So formula in ounces. Um, let's start with the conditioning emulsifier. So I am going to choose Behentrimonium or BTMS 25. BTMS 25. For those of you that weren't here yesterday or haven't watched the replay from yesterday, where we made our rinse out conditioner, I choose this one because it's probably the greenest one, the most eco one of the bihydramonium methosulfate combos available. And it comes with cetyl alcohol, which is a fatty alcohol, which cushions the hair quite nicely. It's very green, it's even suitable for baby products, and it gives a lot of slip and conditioning and softness to curly and coily hair type textures. So I'm going to choose that. Now, if I were doing a light leave-in lotion, like I mentioned, I would do 2%. Okay. If I wanted a hair lotion that was a little bit on the thicker side, I would then do I would start at 3%. Okay, and experiment there. But because I'm wanting to go for more of the cream texture, I'm going to do 4% for our purposes. If I was doing something really thick, like say, I know I've done like trying to break down the almond twisting jai, for example, I would I would probably start at 6% if I was trying to recreate a product like that, right? Um, because that's going to be really, really thick. I would probably add cetyl alcohol or something like that to thicken it up even further. But we don't want something that thick for our leave-in conditioning cream. So 4% is a good place to start. Um, I'm also kind of not wanting to do too much of this. This is a fatty alcohol that will thicken the mixture, that will co-emulsify. So I'm going to go with 1%. Okay. Um, and I want a butter in there. But again, I don't want too much butter because I want this to be sort of more flexible and work with more textures of hair. So because I have 4% emulsifier and 1% of this, which is going to co-emulsify because we already have an emulsifier in there, I can probably get away with about 10 grams of oil. I mean, sorry, 10% of oil and butter. So I would go with like maybe 3% butter. So let's just say shea butter because it's easier for most people. But because it's a leave-in conditioning cream, if you're the kind of person who lives somewhere where you have a lot of options, I would go with a lighter butter, like a murumuru. I would consider something like mafura oil. Now, mafura oil, it's kind of like coconut in the sense that it solidifies. So often it looks like a butter, even though it's sold as an oil. So it's kind of sometimes you see it as an oil, sometimes you see actual butter. It kind of becomes very confusing, but it's so rich that I would put it kind of up there in the category of butters, even though it's not a butter. You know, people will argue with you, oh, it's actually a butter. It's like, well, not sure about that. So let's go with 3% of shea butter. Mango butter would also be an excellent choice for that. Kind of melts into the hair a little bit more. Um, I personally am not fond of kokum butter. It's just so hard and so difficult. Cocoa butter the same way. I prefer it like in sort of rinse out products or mixed with other butters. And in here, either of those would be fine because I guess you're doing it at such a low percentage, it would spread out. But I find those butters to be more difficult to work with and they tend to feel hard in my experience. So I would go with shea butter, mango butter, muru. Those would be the top ones I would suggest. You can also do any of the hydrogenated butters. Like once you start seeing things like avocado butter and aloe vera butter and babasu butter, those are not true butters, they're usually like the oil that's been combined with a kind of fractionated um, coconut oil, that's kind of margarine type of consistency to create a butter. Um, but I find a lot of those work really well, like aloe butter and avocado butter are beautiful too. So, that um, with oil, I like our amla um, hibiscus infused oil. Hopefully, you did it in something light like sunflower oil or grapeseed oil. Um, Speaking of grapeseed oil, that might actually be a wonderful oil to include here, grapeseed oil. Um, and maybe I'll do marula oil. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll say 3% of each of these because these are nice light oils. You've got your butter there. You know, if you want a heavier oil, if you want to switch one of these out for a heavier oil, then you can. Um, and honestly, I would even say 2% of that. So 3 to let's do 2, and then let's do 3 of marula because it's such a beautiful oil. So we'll do 3% of that. And then let's go to, okay, and so this is, if you are not able to have access to a really light conditioning sort of, a conditioning salt, as I like to call them, though that's not technically their name. These are conditioning agents that you add um, that are not necessarily emulsifiers, right? But they do have a conditioning effect on the hair. They're going to smooth that cuticle. They're going to give slip. They're going to give that polished look to the hair that we all seek from a conditioner. So I personally love behentramonium chloride. Behentramonium chloride. And this is going to be behentramonium at making cosmetics. At, oh no. Oh, it's digging up different clients' emails. I won't say that. So at making cosmetics, right? I love this because it has so much slip. It conditions. It doesn't build up in the hair or feel tacky or anything like that. So I would add this at 2 to 3%. Because it's a leave-in product, I'm gonna go lighter and say 2%. But if you're using something stickier or tackier, I would go with 1%. Okay, just kind of do 1% and then steal that other one, remaining percent from the water portion. Like you've probably noticed before, I like to do the water portion last because then it makes everything else easier. I just do the things that I know that I'm not going to change. Amla and hibiscus extract. Now we're getting into the water stuff, and that's going to be in water or aloe juice. And if you don't want to use only that, you could always do hibiscus extract and distilled water. Especially if you've done aloe juice, then I would do distilled water as well, right? So maybe I might actually have you do that because it'll be too difficult for people just looking at the document who are not going to listen to me talk to figure that out. So we'll do some distilled water as well. You could also use deionized water. Do not use tap water. I would love to add a humectant. I'm going to add 1,3-propane diol. 3 diol. I'm gonna add it at 10%. There's just something that this does in terms of keeping the hair soft, moisturized, curls popping. It's just a miracle ingredient. So I put it in almost every place where it can be put. And I've explained ad nauseum what it does in previous things, but it's derived from fermented corn and it's an alternative to petroleum derived glycols. So don't freak out just because it sounds um, you know, crazy. I love bamboo extract. If you don't have this where you are, then obviously just ignore that. But bamboo extract at 10% is going to give it a really good squishiness. You could also buy a hibiscus extract from a place like Formulation Sample Shop and substitute that here too, if you wanted to, like in keeping with our hibiscus theme. Um, I can't recall if the hibiscus extract costs the same as the bamboo or not. Um, I want to say it's probably more expensive. Um, and it kind of mystifies me because their hibiscus extract isn't as pink as if when you make it on your own at home. So it kind of baffles me, but it works the same as a hibiscus extract that you make. So, there's that. You could always do that if you don't like the idea of having your products not look white, because an amla and hibiscus extract is going to be reddish brown. And so when you when you mix it in, because of the amla, it might take on a slight brown color. If you only had hibiscus, because it's a cream, it would be pink initially. Um, but then over time, it might oxidize to a brown, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's still a really good product. Um, but if you wanted less of that coloring, then obviously add less of the extract. But the less of the extract you add, the less of that amla hibiscus quality you are adding. What's really lovely about this particular extract combination is that both amla and hibiscus feel really conditioning to the hair. They're very conditioning to the hair, so they are lovely to use in leave-in products. Rinse out products too, but in leave-in products, you will really love them. All right, so we've got that. Um, if you wanted to, you could add a touch of glycerin. This bamboo extract already has glycerin. Um, you know, so I wouldn't add too much, but you could just leave it as is. If you're in a place where you're not going to use 1,3-propane diol at all, then I would instead use maybe 2 to 5% glycerin. I wouldn't do too much glycerin. If you live in a place where it's very humid, then maybe I would go with less glycerin. If you live in a place that's extremely dry and arid, then I would go more towards the 5% glycerin. Okay, so you could do that instead of the propane diol if you can't find that. I know glycerin tends to be very easy to find most places. All right, I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything here that is super important. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna just keep this protein free for this particular product. And we need a preservative. Um, let's go with Glucona Lactone with sodium. Wonder if I can fit it in. Oh, I can. Okay. And then we'll do a natural fragrance, an essential oil, or an essential oil blend. Okay. And this is where you can get really fancy. And because it's at 1%, if you do a blend, um, then each thing is going to be in there at less than 1%. So then you're not obligated to disclose on the label what that blend is. And then that can keep it customary to you. But everything else that's in here, you're required by law to declare it on the label because it's in there at 1% or greater. That's the law in the United States. Anyway, so, and honestly, I believe in full disclosure. If you use any kind of citrus in your essential oil blend, I really prefer that you share that with people. Um, you can just put a little note that say does contain citrus, or on your website, you can say our, you know, proprietary natural fragrance blend or essential oil blend does have some citrus, because there are people like me who react horribly to citrus. We're a small percentage of the population, but we exist. And one of the top skincare YouTubers, Hiram, I don't know if any of you follow him. He has like millions of subscribers. He repeatedly prefers says he doesn't want any citrus because of the irritation and so forth. He loves fragrance-free things. So I'm just like, yay, somebody with an actual huge audience is spreading this message to people. So consumers will start to ask for it and will start to see less of it. But it's really can be aggravating to the skin. And you're like, well, this is a hair care product, Eden. Yeah, it's a hair care product, but it's so close to the face that eventually it will get to the face and the neck, and people might touch their face without having fully washed off their hands, or when they're in the shower and they're washing their hair, it can run down onto their face. Um, all of the things. So if you can avoid the citrus, then do. But if you love it so much, because it is a really lovely fragrance, like I love citrus for uh things that are on my body and not my face, even though I get paranoid that I'm going to have to really wash my hands afterwards, so I just tend to avoid it. But I love the smell excuse me, of citrus in natural candles or in aromatherapy, um like a diffuser or something like that. So, just something to consider. So now let's do the thing where we calculate to see. I'm just going to check in on you guys before I start calculating percentages, just to make sure you're okay and that you can see me. Ooh, tons of questions. Okay, we'll answer those after I finish the formulation. All right, so we'll go top to bottom, and then we'll go bottom to top to double check our math. So 4, 5, 7, 10, 12, 14, 17, 27, 37, 39. Okay, so that means that we would have 61% left to play with, which makes it majority water, which is awesome. So let's go back up to make sure that it adds up to 39 again. So this is 2, 22, 25, 27, 29, 32, 34, 35, 39. Okay, so there we are at 39% again. So we have 61 to work with. So let's go with 31% of our extract and 30% of water. But you could do all extract if you want to, because that extract is water-based. Okay, so you'd still be getting a lot of water in there. If you are an aloe girl, you can do all aloe, but not everyone reacts to aloe the same way. I think aloe is great for everyone, but some people do better with it diluted in a leave-in situation than having it straight in a situation. So just to mitigate risk, I would say do half and half if you're using aloe. But if all your extracts are in water and then that. And just know that we used amla hibiscus as an example, right? And I know that that's been popular for years, ever since Curly Proverbs, even though there were people even before her selling amla hibiscus and this and that. And Shea Moisture has their whole coconut hibiscus line that they've had for years. Um, Even so, you can still use other extracts. You can use rosemary and sage. That would be a great combo for people who have scalp issues. You know, whatever combination you want. You could even use one extract. It doesn't even have to be two. Many of my clients have four, sometimes even six extracts that are their signature extracts for their line. So, be creative. There's plenty to choose from. All right, so we got the percentages done. So now I've got to do this bit. I know I better not do it at font 14 because it won't fit. Okay, so let's call this test batch. Okay, and then we'll call this large batch. And I know I forgot to put this in other formulas. I'll go back and put it in for the document for those of you who are getting the bundle and are going to have the actual PDFs. But 10 ounces is your test batch. And I have a free YouTube video that shows my process of thinking through this, okay? So you can always go look at that. I think it's called How to Calculate Percentages in Your Formulas, or How to Do Percentages in Your Formulas. So 4%, okay, so 0.40, point, oh wait, 4%, yeah, 0.4 ounces. Sorry guys, I probably should have had tea or coffee or something this morning, but I did not. And this would be 4 ounces. This would be 0.1 ounce and 1 ounce. So you can see the left column is identical to the percentage column is identical to the large batch column, which makes your life so much easier. This is just going to be, you know, this one requires more math for the stuff that's under 10%, but once you get past 10%, you're free and clear. Over here, you're just moving the decimal point over. But the quickest way is to check. The thing is that you don't want to start with a large batch, okay? Because every formula works different for everyone. You need to do a test batch until you can get the proportions that you're happy with. Remember that a formula is just an idea to start with, so you're not starting from completely clueless and crazy. Okay, so let's just copy and paste all this because we have quite a few 2% here. Save us some time. See if there are any other 2%. No, but there are a few 1%. You didn't wait till the end to do that. Might as well just do it. Okay. Let's all give thanks for whoever invented the copy and paste function. All right, so 0.3 ounces. Let's copy and paste that over here. And then get to the easier one. So this is going to be 3.1 ounces, right, for a 10-ounce batch, and 31. This is going to be 3 ounces, 10% of 30% of 10 is 3, and 30 ounces. And when in doubt, just use a calculator, Feeling fuzzy, use a calculator. You don't have to do anything by head. But this is so easy. Let's just go ahead and do this. All right. So now I've done that. The next thing I'm going to do is the thing that I love to do, which is I'm going to group all the things together that go together, and I'm going to color code them so that it's easier for us to read. Okay, so all the melting orange things are going to be orange. Sorry, the melting fatty, waxy, oily things. And then all of our water-based things are going to be blue. Okay, remember we're doing artisanal botanical crafting here. So we're not going to be heating things up to the sky. Okay, so that's how I do my phases rather than telling you to keep high temperatures up to it, you know? It's just like I'll find people are obsessed with keeping their products natural. Then they tell me they've been heating their natural product up to the sky. I'm like, you do realize that you just killed a whole bunch of nutrients, but okay, it's natural. So then we'll do some directions. All right. And so, as usual, I should have this part on copy and paste. You know, yeah, directions. So I'm going to have to copy and paste for the formula in grams. So we'll do the directions and then I'll go back and do the formula in grams. Just because I have the direction on my mind. So pre-weigh everything and group into and separate the bowls containers of individual ingredients according to our code on the formula above. This will help you work more efficiently and quickly. Okay, so just the weighing everything, putting them in little groups, right? And then after that, you know, you're off to the races. Okay, so for all the orange coated ingredients into a stainless steel pot, you can use a double boiler for the small batch. I don't think you'll be able to do it for the big batch, but you could attempt it if you have something that big. And we're going to change this to pour. Gently heat on low until fully melted, and then you're going to turn off the heat source. So while this is melting, you can be doing other stuff. You don't have to sit there watching it melt. But you also want to be, if you're going to do that, you want to be aware that there's something that's melting. So this is why I kind of prefer sometimes. So you could start with weighing all the orange stuff and putting it in the pot, and then weigh this stuff once you've become faster, right? And you know, kind of get that ready while that stuff is melting on low heat. Then you're going to, I'm going to take the bowl off now. You're going to mix together all the blue ingredients in a separate container. Sorry, my English isn't perfect in these documents. I do better when I have time, but I'm kind of on the spot here, making stuff up as we go. And then you're going to pour the blue ingredients into the melted oily ingredients in the pot. Like I said again, do it in this order and not the other way around. Let me see, I did something weird. Very important, or else your formula could be inaccurate. Okay, so the reason for this is that the top of the pot might not be as hot as the bottom of the pot, especially if it's been a while since the melted ingredients have been sitting in there. And when you're pouring out your melted emulsifier with oils and stuff, it all just looks like an oily mixture. The top, on its way out, is going to start sticking to the pot. And then you might lose some of the emulsifier because it's going to re-solidify on its way out the pot because the top of the pot is cooler, right? It's going to start setting up again like a wax. And then you might have to use a spatula to scrape it all out. You're probably not going to get it all out. And even if you do, it might end up making your final product clumpy because you didn't get the job done the right way. So you always want to pour your blue ingredients into your watery ingredients into your oil and emulsifier mixture. Okay, so there's that. Then once your conditioner is cool or warm to the touch, blend in your essential oils. And I actually left a whole step out. I'm so sorry. Use your immersion blender to stick blend this mixture to creaminess. This happens very fast, so you're not going to be blending for very long. Like when you're making, say, an Irish moss gel or a sclerotium gel or something like that, sometimes you can be blending for a long time for it to thicken up. But when you're blending something like this, like an emulsion, usually you're not blending for very long. If you're making soap, you'll be blending for a while just to get it to trace. So this is not going to be like that kind of crazy blend. It'll happen quickly for you. Doesn't take very long at all. Let's color code everything. So this also helps you see what's coming, right? You can see what's coming down the pike. Blue. And then orange. And boom. Now, for those of you that are using Optifen Plus instead of Glucona Lactone as your preservative, you would add it with your essential oils at the end. So there's that. And let's do our formula in grams. So we'll just move this to here. I think there wasn't really much. Let's just start it on a new page. And then we're going to go up here. And we're just going to copy this whole shebang. And we're going to paste it right here. Right? And then we're going to change everything to grams. So for your test batch in grams, this is going to be 200 grams because I think that's, you honestly could do 100 grams, but I think that once it becomes too difficult to mix just 100 grams because that's 3 ounces for our US friends. For some things that are watery, you can totally do 100 ounces that, you know, like if it was a spray or something like that. But for something like this, I would prefer that you have a bigger sampling to work with. Okay, so basically we're multiplying everything in the percentage thing. So for the 200 gram batch, I'm multiplying by 2, and here I'm multiplying by 20. But once you've done this line, you're really just adding a 0 to this line. Okay, so so this would be 8 grams, then this would be 80 grams. This would be 2 grams. Oops. That's 2 grams. And this would be 20 grams. This would be 4 grams. And this would be 40 grams. This would be 6 grams. And this would be 60 grams. This would be copy and paste. So copy. And yay. It. And this would be 6 grams. And this would be 60 grams. So this would, instead of 31, it would be 62 grams. And this would be 620 grams. This would be 60 grams. And this would be 600 grams. This would be 20 grams. And 200. Grams. With a different color might just be easier to just do the thing. All right. Phew. So we finished that. That's all done. So now I just dropped something. Oh well. So now let's look at some of these questions. Okay, I'll go out of my share screen so you don't have to see that crazy thing that it does when I'm not in the document. That's not fun to look at. Looks like a recipe for a migraine. All right, so Sumaya, bamboo extract powder. That's a very good question. No, this is a bamboo extract that you buy. You would buy it from a place like Making Cosmetics. It might be at Ingredients to Die For, don't quote me. They have so much stuff. I don't remember if it's there or not. But I know that Making Cosmetics has the best price for it, and it's going to be a bamboo extract in glycerin. Okay. It's also available at Formulator Sample Shop. I think their Black Friday sale ended yesterday, unfortunately. Their price is a little bit more than Making Cosmetics, but it's still reasonable. Um, and because it's a cream, you could even use bamboo bioferment. I only like bamboo bioferment in creams or, like a conditioner, a rinse out conditioner, deep conditioner, leave-in conditioner, some kind of emulsified thing. In a watery thing, its texture can be funny, its smell can be funny, but all of that sort of melts and disappears into a cream. So you're looking for liquid. I know you can buy bamboo powder. Um, I've never worked with it. I've never worked with bamboo powder and then had it have that same slip that the extract has. I would just buy the extract for this particular case. As much as I'm a make your own extracts kind of a gal, I buy bamboo extract to this day. Good morning, Nini, and you're welcome. So glad you're making a hair lotion. Actually, the recipe that I just made is a hair cream, but a hair lotion would be the exact same recipe I gave you. You're going to bring the emulsifier way down to 2%, okay? Because then that becomes something everyone with any texture, any style can use regularly. I experimented making one last night and it turned out dreadfully. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to be rich, full of slip, and I added BTMS. Oh, at 8%, that was your issue. Whoops. Why is it showing? At 10%. Oh, I just did something that I didn't know that you could do. Look at me learning as I go. All right. So, yeah, the fact that you added at 8%, I'm pretty sure that it turned out more like a really, almost like a deep conditioner. I think you think that you made a mistake, but you just made a deep conditioner, girl. So don't throw it away. Just use it in your next hair wash. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's other things you should add to this to make it more slippery for a deep conditioner, but that's a deep conditioner. Don't despair. You're learning. That's how you learn, right? Like let's have this thing of celebrating our failed experiments because in it is it's getting us closer to understanding the product. I noticed that you use different preservatives. Is there a reason for that? I'm just giving examples of preservatives you can use. Now, so Nini, now that I'm being fancy, I'm so proud of myself. When an old lady learns how to use the internet, she just can't help herself. All right, so Glucona lactone with sodium benzoate. That's a relatively newer preservative on the natural hair care market. And when I say new, I mean several years, right? As opposed to several decades. So take new with a grain of salt. So there are a lot of newfangled natural preservatives. Not all of them have a great track record. Glucona lactone with sodium benzoate has a really good track record. It's EcoCert, it's green, it's certified, it's you can use it for organic products, even in Europe, because it's EcoCert, right? Which is a much stricter standard than, say, USDA organic. So I love that preservative and I recommend it as much as I can. Sometimes it's called GeoGuard Ultra. That's its trade name. Just like phenoxyethanol with caprylyl glycol and sorbic acid is Optifen Plus, right? So Glucona lactone sodium benzoate, you can also search for it under the name GeoGuard Ultra, right? So I'll put that in the type so that you can see it. GeoGuard Ultra, right? Yeah, there we go. So GeoGuard Ultra. Um, so you can use that. It is a powder, which means that sometimes at certain percentages, it doesn't always melt. It doesn't always dissolve all the way, right? I don't know if heat dissolve. I have to experiment with if heat helps it dissolve a little better. So it's kind of a little bit trickier that way, but it is more eco. Optifen Plus is more widely available. I've seen it everywhere, almost in every country, right? So, I'm just using things interchangeably, but yeah, you can choose one or the other. You don't have to do a different one for each thing. You can choose one or the other and you're fine, you know. It's just that when depending on the one you use, it changes the process of when you put it in the what's doobie in the formula. Like if it's a powder, obviously you're not gonna put it in at the end because it might end up gritty in your formula. You would mix it in with the water stuff, right? And then add it with things. So you gotta also use common sense. It's just like let's not be so intimidated by the products that we it's just like think of it how you cook. Just that same logic that you bring to your cooking process, you're going to bring it to this. So just kind of figure out where it should go in the formula based on what it says it's soluble in, based on, what it requires. Does it need heat? Does it only want to be added in at the end? Those are the kind of things. And your hair turned green. I tried the moisturizing detangling shampoo and your hair turned green. I only used decyl glucoside, I guess. I'm guessing you're wanting to say as the surfactant. I don't know. I don't know, Nini, what could have happened. I'm sorry about that. I've never had anyone have their hair turn green. Um, yeah, I don't know why that would be the case. I would need to know more details of what you did to understand. Um, but I've had, and it's a formula that we made on the spot. Um, so maybe it's something, we can look at, but I don't know why your hair would turn green. I've never had anyone say that to me before. So sorry about that experience. Um, Hair so soft. Quat 91. Okay, I'm gonna definitely show this because it's a lot to absorb. Oh, yeah. I can see why that. It was definitely draggy. Um, yeah. The 5% of the hair so soft was too high. So I would say if you want to do a detangling lotion, I would do BTMS at 1 or 1.5 and the hair so soft at 1 or 1.5. I would do the shea butter at 1% and then glycerin and the rest water. And then I think you're going to have a much better experience that way. So revise that just so you know that 5% hair so soft and 8% BTMS did you in. And it was draggy because, you can't even use that without water. And even for a deep conditioner, that would have been a lot because that would have been like, now we're at 12% emulsifying stuff. That's high. Yeah, you did overdo the waxes, love. So I would reduce that significantly. Hi, Milu. Where can I find amla and hibiscus extract? I live in Italy. On day one, I showed you how to source um, products, right? So I haven't seen amla extract on the market. What I would do is I would buy amla for your oil extract, I would buy amla powder. And for your water extract, I'd buy whole amla fruit or dehydrated amla, dried. You can go to an Indian store if you can find an Indian grocery store. Um, I find Indian grocery stores in every country where Indians live. So you can go there and buy, amla, and you can probably find amla and hibiscus extract. You can go to an herb shop, a shop that sells bulk herbs. You can look on Amazon in Italy. You can look on eBay in Italy. If you want to buy a pre-made hibiscus extract, you could probably do Formulate. A Sample Shop has an EU shop. I don't know where it's based. I want to say it's in Germany or something, maybe France. They used to be in UK, but they left the UK for whatever reason. Um, Without speculating, I could speculate. I did speculate the other day. I don't know the reason, but they're not in the UK anymore. But I think we can guess what the reason might be. Wink, wink. So, so yeah, they have a hibiscus extract that you can buy. At least the United States one has. So I imagine that the European store has one too. Um, yeah. So make your own using the guidance I give you in on day one, or you can buy it from that place. Rosiona Naturals, who makes an excellent product. Majority of the ingredients here is what I use in a lot of my other formulations, mainly the BTMS and the behentrimonium. I love the way the two react when combined. I absolutely love the way the two react when combined. I do actually have, where is it? Oh gosh, it's in another room. I was gonna drag out your big container of, she has an excellent leave-in cream, guys. Excellent leave-in cream. Just melts into the hair. It's not heavy. It can be used repeatedly, works on multiple textures, so you should definitely give it a try. But yes, there's just something about the combination of behentrimonium chloride and behentrimonium methosulfate. When you combine them, that's just dreamy. I can't say, you know, um, is there a limit to how many times the same ingredients can be used? That's a very good question. I don't think that there is. I'm not really sure exactly what you're asking. If you're talking about overlap within a line, I don't think that there is a limit. I actually prefer that people use as much overlap as they can because it's going to cut their costs down, which is why I'm saying use the same extracts and make that the signature extracts of that particular line. And then when you create a second line of products, then it can be green tea and rooibos or, whatever it is you want to do. But it streamlines your processes, and it also is creating a uniform experience for the person, because if you're starting out with a person in mind you want to cater to, if you're catering to the eczema community, then yes, put chamomile and calendula in everything. It should be in everything, and then people aren't silly. They can see that a, a hair lotion is runny and watery and they can pour it out of a bottle, whereas a hair cream is thicker. So yes, if they see that, yeah, it's the same ingredients, but the proportions obviously are different because the product feels different, right? So I don't think that there is a limit. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but no, there's no limit. And for the maker, it makes sense. And ultimately for the customer, it makes sense because now you can sell them a more affordable product because you've streamlined your processes. That's my thought process on that. Barbara says, this is amazing. You make it look too simple. You know what? I suffered so much when I was trying to learn this and nobody would show it and people being so secretive. And it's just like, there's never a reason to be that secretive, you know? It's just like, everyone's formula is different. Every single person has a different formula. Um, you know, they can even have the same ingredients, the processes by which they combine them, other things that they add, um, different things. Can horsetail be a substitute for bamboo? Oh my God, I have to answer this. I'm sorry, I just interrupted my own answer to answer this. Ooh, me and horsetail have a story. Girl, horsetail can definitely not be a substitute for bamboo. If you're looking for silica, then yes, it can definitely be a substitute for bamboo. But if you're looking for slip, it absolutely, absolutely cannot. Horsetail, people love to say stuff about horsetail. Oh, horsetail helps to grow the hair, and horsetail helps to grow the hair slowly. And the way it grows the hair is that it prevents breakage. People think it's accelerating growth because it has silica. It's preventing breakage by strengthening the hair. So that's going to be a much slower appearance of new hair. So that's one. So we've got to understand the difference between things that strengthen the hair and they help the hair grow that way, as opposed to stimulating circulation and accelerating the appearance of new hair, right? The second thing is that horsetail has this sort of like, it feels drying a little bit on the hair. I think on the extracts day, we talked about some things that are really wonderful for growing hair, but they feel really tangly in the hair, like bringrage. Put some bringrage in water and spray it in your hair, then come back and tell us what you experienced. It's intense. So if you're gonna use an ingredient like bringrage, you absolutely have to combine it with ingredients that are more slippery, like the marshmallow roots and hibiscus. A hibiscus is really great for rounding off the edges in anything that may be intense or sharp like that. So horsetail is a lovely ingredient, but just be careful how you use it. And if you do include it, I definitely wouldn't include it at 10%. Um, I would put it in the amla and hibiscus extract, but it is not a substitute for bamboo. You're still gonna need to use something. In fact, I would do say horsetail, marshmallow root, amla, and hibiscus. So that combination is going to be wonderful for strengthening the hair, uh, but also not take away from the slip because you added the horsetail. So hopefully that answers your question. Just let me know, Sumaya, if it doesn't, and just probe me further. All right. Well, this is a very sweet thing to say. So I'm going to pin it. Thank you so much, Barbara. Please, what a blue ingredient. So can you clarify what a blue ingredient? So let me just share my screen really quick. Super, super fast. Oh, last time I didn't click share audio. I hope it was sharing the audio. Right. And then we go like, wait, I have to do this. That's what I'm supposed to do. All right. So when we made our formula, remember how we color coded everything? That's what I mean by blue ingredient, purple ingredient, orange ingredient, because now I can just say blue instead of writing all of this into the, directions. Like who wants to read that? That will make you like bonkers. So, yeah, that's what I mean by blue and orange. So hopefully that explains it for you. Stop sharing. Yeah. All right. Um, Sumaya said, thank you. You're welcome, love. And then, no, not my hair, the shampoo. Okay, I'm glad your hair didn't turn green. That was not my hair, the shampoo. Was it the same um thing we used yesterday? Was it the same formula, Nini, that we used yesterday? Because if it was, or on day 2, let's see, hair care, unlocked, I imagine day 3. Yeah, here it is. So I brought it up. I'm not sharing it yet, but I'll look at the formula and see what could have turned your shampoo green. Femi L, did she already have color in her hair? Yeah, she's saying not her hair. She's saying her shampoo, Femi. Uh, and good morning or good day. Coco NB says, thank you with a kiss. Thank you, Coco NB. That's so sweet. Jessica Allen, yes, I am so glad you are showing and sharing. There is room for all of us. That is exactly the thing. That is exactly the thing. And there is no new thing that's been made. That's why it's so difficult to patent um, beauty products. You know, it's very difficult to patent because it's just like, you know, you can't patent conditioner and then unless you're using, I don't know, something really innovative. But it is very difficult even for big companies to patent every single thing that they do. So, just kind of be aware of that. Rosiona Natural says, yes, he explained it perfectly. Yeah. I just want to shout out Rosiana Natural. She has like amazing products. You guys need to go and check her out. I really love her products, especially for my kids. And I live in the desert, so that's saying a lot because our hair in the desert is very particular here. Good morning, Frenica. So it looks like I've answered all the questions. Does anyone else have questions? Sumaya says, yes, it does. Thank you so much. Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, so use your horsetail, but just, use mitigating factors as well. Eden, would you be able to tell us what cholesterol is in terms of a deep conditioner? I think the NC name is cholesterol NF. Is this basically lanolin? You know what? I've never looked at cholesterol. Someone asked me if I could make like a cholesterol hair mask or something in our Facebook group, and I was like, I don't know, I don't even understand what that is. So I would have to look at it to understand. But if you can find it at a place like making cosmetics or lotion crafter or ingredients to die for, if they sell it, they have a detailed description of what it is, right? So just kind of read up on it and see. Some ingredients I just don't work a lot with. And the reason being is that um, my family is vegan, my kids and their father is vegan, and I was vegan for a very long time. And then this year I started eating a little bit of dairy and egg. Um, but even so, I'm still like 95% vegan. Um, and so there are a lot, and I use vegan products on myself and on my children. I'm open to honey, but like once we start getting into the silks and this and that, I'm just like, it's not for me. I don't think it's bad, and I'm not the kind of vegetarian vegan who thinks that everybody needs to be vegan. I don't believe that. I think you need to do what's best for your body. But because I don't use animal products generally, I don't wear leather, I don't do any of that. I tend to avoid the ingredients that are kind of animal based. So I don't know what the cholesterol is. Like keratin. Most keratin is kind of made from animal derived products, like, maybe sheep's wool or different kind of, because it's basically hair, right? So I don't know what cholesterol is, but when I look at an ingredient like that, my suspicion is that my automatic thought is like, this is probably not vegan. But if I came across a customer who wanted to make something with cholesterol in it, I definitely would take a look at it. Um, yeah, I would take a look at it. But I can't really answer your question, love, because I don't know. I haven't hung out with Miss Cholesterol at all, really. Dark and Lovely used to make an outstanding cholesterol conditioner, but they changed the formula. Yeah. Sometimes it's a bummer when people change the formula for whatever reason. Um, but yeah, why did you choose to not use proteins? I chose not to use proteins because I feel like you can get enough of the protein in like a conditioner. In the conditioner, if you watch the conditioner video yesterday, I did use proteins, right? Um, I may have used it in the shampoo or not, but I prefer protein in there, and you can definitely use protein in other things. I just feel like in a lineup of leave-in products, I would not use protein in every single thing. Put protein in your refresher, then put protein in your leave-in cream, and then put protein in your curl cream, and then put protein in your gel. I just feel like it might be too much. And there are a lot of people who are a little bit more sensitive to proteins, depending on their texture of hair or their hair porosity, and and whether they're knowledgeable about it or not, or whether they're just kind of following stuff they've learned about on YouTube. Once you put that protein in, you're putting it at minimum 1%, which means it has to go on the label, right? And then they see protein and they're like, so I don't think it's necessary for a leave-in cream if your hair care routine is balanced enough to have protein somewhere in it. Your hair is not going to fall out because your leave-in conditioning cream has no protein in it. So that's why I left it out. Hopefully that answers your question, Coco NB. But you absolutely could include it if you want to. And if you did, I would use hydrolyzed baobab protein, which kind of has a repairing, anti-frizzing effect. Or I would use lupine protein because it just kind of feels more fatty to me. I know that's a strange thing to say about a protein, but it just feels like it has more omegas. It's just easily absorbed. It plays well with all hair textures, and even people who are protein averse love it. And I would include that at 2%. Now, friends, I must love you and leave you because I gotta wake up these sleepy kids and get them, you know, fed and logged in for online school. But feel free to join me again tomorrow morning. I can't remember what we're doing tomorrow. I think we're doing a hair oil. Yeah, I think we're doing a hair oil tomorrow. Um, Sarah, that's a great question. Catching with a great question just before I'm about to go. All right. Um, so, do I feel the same way about MSM? That's an interesting question. I would say that MSM is really a potent thing, and you don't really need a lot. I find that if you put a teaspoon of MSM per bottle of formula, so I don't know how much a teaspoon would weigh, you'd have to figure it out, but that's going to be a smidge of a percentage. So just a teaspoon of MSM in an entire 8-ounce or 230 ml bottle of hair refresher is enough to get the MSM effect. So I don't see why you would add more. I don't know if you use too much that it might give you that protein effect, but it could. I've never used that much before, so you could experiment with it by itself. So just do a teaspoon of MSM in water and put it in your hair, or put a teaspoon of MSM, just enough to like maybe melt it a little bit, and then pour it into your shampoo and wash, and then gradually increase the amount of MSM and see how it feels if it does the same thing. Yes, Femi, sometimes formulas get changed because some ingredients are discontinued. Yeah, that's true. Um, but I find that to be truer more for people like us who are, starting out. For bigger manufacturers, they always have so much access, they could even have the ingredient created for them. So I don't know why they would discontinue it, but yeah, maybe even at that level, ingredients get discontinued. All right, loves, I'm gonna love you and leave you. The replay will be up. For some reason, Restream is not posting the replay to YouTube, so I have to download it from here and then re-upload it to YouTube hours later. So I'll do that again when I get a break from the first grade. So thank you guys for joining me. Have a good rest of your day.